Could you tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do for World History Encyclopedia?
Yeah. So I'm Joanne Taylor. I'm a freelance editor and proofreader based in Sri Lanka. And for World History, I proofread some of the articles and definitions.
How come you found World History Encyclopedia?
All my work is remote. So I was researching, I think, some quite obscure mythology topics. And yeah, World History kept popping up as having reliable, detailed, interesting information. So it gradually became my go-to resource.
You say you proofread. How do you go about that?
Yeah, so it's quite different to normal reading, although I do get to read and enjoy the articles as well. So you're looking for spelling, punctuation and grammar. Of course, any ambiguity, really. Most things have already been weeded out by the time they get to me because they've been edited by Ibolia already. And obviously our staff writers do such an amazing job. So it's just looking for any little blips that have made it through or any potential ambiguity, like if a comma could mean a reader misinterprets something, those kind of little details.
So proofreading essentially means more than just making sure that things are spelled correctly, but it's really also about meaning, is that right?
Yeah, all editing and proofreading, I think we're thinking about, is the reader getting the intended message?
So when you proofread, does that mean you focus entirely on the grammar, or do you also look at the content, for example, finding inconsistencies and things like that?
Yeah, that's the main thing with because it's articles from different authors and different countries, that it should be consistent within that piece.
Are there mistakes that you often come across?
It does vary. Often it's a matter of style, like style preferences. So Chicago Manual of Style is kind of my default.
Mm-hmm.
But if an author has chosen a different style, it's more closely like Oxford. As long as it's consistent within the article is the main thing. But some authors have different comma preferences. That's something that that we can be flexible with as long as it's not ambiguous for readers.
How do you deal with so many different English styles?
Yeah, so I think that's a great asset really of the encyclopedia, because any preference an author has, we keep it to their preference as long as it's consistent within that one piece. So if it's US spelling, it's US spelling throughout, that kind of thing. Or Indian English, England English spelling throughout, So that's great.
Is there something that they could do to make your life easier?
I think one of the main things is read your work out loud before you submit. That can be the most helpful. It will help you spot any little errors that our brain skips over,
right.
Especially in our own writing. Your brain just skips over because we wrote it, we know what it's meant to say. Mm-hmm. But reading it aloud forces you to slow down and makes it sort of like, the approachable tone that we like at the encyclopedia, so younger students can access it and people reading for fun enjoy it as well. Yeah, so I think that would be my top tip. Give it a read aloud, or on the computer you can get it to read it to you, which is almost as good.
Are there any peculiarities in history writing?
Dates is a main one, so looking at how ranges are presented, what kind of dash, how are you going to say BC, Common Era, before Common Era, the spacing, are you using small caps or regular size caps, for reign and lived and those things. You're going to have the letter and a dot and a space, so that's the main one. Checking references is slightly different compared to other disciplines, and one of my colleagues says never trust the text. However many times a name is written, don't skip over the name. There's it's easy just to make a typo in one of those. So
are you a history lover? Did you study history?
So I got into history. I didn't study history at school because our syllabus was just some wars and some lists of kings. That's how it seemed at the time. Mm-hmm. So I kind of came to history through the character-driven angle, the stories. And I like the ability, history, the story of the characters to transport you.
Is there any sort of time period interests you most that you're particularly keen on?
Well, living in Sri Lanka, I'm of course interested in Sri Lankan history, especially pre-colonial times. It's such an advanced civilization, really, with all the waterworks and building and things that were going on, and the pearl industry there. So, yeah, there's so much that's fascinating. But I'm definitely character driven. So I almost don't mind where or when. I like to find these little nuggets of stories.
Right, yeah. Well, we often say that story is the key part of the word history, and
Yeah.
I think that's true, right?
Yeah, I think that's what we connect to.
And do you work usually on your own?
So sometimes it does involve some back and forth with the editorial team. Well, often I'm reading on my own, and then if I've got questions, I ask. But yeah, other parts of the work do involve the whole editorial team. So I quite enjoy reviewing marketing copy and landing pages and things like that. So that involves everybody.
We're here in Burgundy for our team meeting. What was your experience?
Strangely, because I've been out of Europe for a while, so I kind of got a bit of culture shock coming back, even though I'm from the UK originally. So yeah, that definitely got me thinking, because Sri Lanka's had some ups and downs recently, definitely got me thinking about the history of different countries and how that really impacts the living conditions of people today.
That's a good message about why it's important to learn about history as well, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And finally, is there something that you would want to tell to maybe our writers or our readers about World History Encyclopedia, writing, life, anything?
Oh, well, we appreciate you. We appreciate, the volunteer writers, readers, the members who support us financially, and volunteer translators. I think is absolutely fantastic. There's so many people who give their time generously, and that's fantastic. And even readers who aren't able to support us financially, we get so many nice messages about what our site means to them. And yeah, that means a lot to us as a team. So thanks for those.